everyone, what's up? My name's Kate, thanks for joining me today. Today's video I'm actually quite excited for. I thought I would do a little book haul. I say little, there's like 20 plus books in this, so it's not massive, but it's bigger than I probably would like it to be. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to take you through the books that I have bought since Christmas, and I think I've got about 20, maybe like 30 books. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's talk about books. The first hardback book I got was The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I haven't read any of Holly Jackson's books before. I have a Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I haven't read it yet, and so subsequently I haven't read Good Girl Bad Blood. Hold on, my mum's calling me.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry to disturb you. And can I play Dad's phone on the laptop, the Chromebook? There.
What do you mean there?
Okay then. Bye.
Bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. My parents have gone away for the week and they've been gone. They left this morning and they left at like 10 o'clock. It is now 4:25 and they have called me at least 3 times to try and figure out how to work the TV, the laptop, the phone. But I picked this up because it sounded really good when I read what it was meant to be about, and people have raved about Holly Jackson's writing for so long that I feel like I need to get on the hype quickly, otherwise I'm gonna miss it and no one will be talking about Holly Jackson by the time I get around to reading her books. The next book I got is House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas. This is the 3rd book in the Crescent City series, and I got this back in January when it came out because my dad pre-ordered it as a Christmas present for me, because I read the first book, which is House of Earth and Blood, I think, and absolutely loved it. Then he got me the 2nd book when it came out. He pre-ordered that for me as well, which is House of Sky and Breath, and I haven't gotten around to reading it yet because I just got so busy with work and university that I didn't have enough time to be able to read a book with a world that is that intricate and detailed. So I had to sort of just leave it on the shelf for a bit, and then my dad bought the 3rd book when it came out, and I still haven't managed to read it yet because, again, I finished university and then carried on with work, and given like my job, I don't have a lot of free time to really sit down and get into a book because I have so many things to do. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this one, although it is a very hefty book. Like, that is thick. The final hardback that I got that I'm going to talk about is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I have seen this everywhere. Everyone on Instagram has been talking about it, everyone on TikTok's been talking about it, and I feel like I'm missing out, so I bought it. I don't really know what it's about. I think it's like an enemies to lovers type thing. They both work for publishing. They're both journalists. Her brother's gone off to war and she writes him letters, but the rival journalist gets the letters instead, and they form a connection that way. And to be honest, when I first heard about it, I didn't think it was going to be my cup of tea, because I was like, that seems like such a weird thing. Like, why is he getting her letters, and why? There was just so many questions and I couldn't really be bothered to figure them out by reading the book. And then more people kept talking about it on social media, and I was like, oh, maybe this sounds like something I would like. The 2nd book's come out, if I'm not mistaken, so yeah, I've got to get reading on that because everyone's read the 2nd book already, I think, so I've got a lot of reading to do. Okay, now we're on to my paperbacks. There are quite a few, so buckle in. The first book, well, the 4th book I got is Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. This is the 1st book, I think, in the Vancouver Storm series. It's a hockey romance book, of course, because as you all know, I am a romance girly. I think it's something to do with she's his assistant or something. I'm not too sure what the situation is here, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it as sort of like part of the hockey romance genre, and everyone said they loved it, so I thought I'd give it a go, so I picked it up. So I'm excited to read that and let you know my thoughts. Quick refresher, if you will. Then we've got Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is the 5th book in the Chestnut Spring series, and I absolutely love the Chestnut Spring series. This is the latest book. It follows Bo Eatan, who is the middle brother of the Eatan brothers, I think. I think it goes Cade, Bo, and then Rhett, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really excited to read it because apparently it's a marriage of convenience, or like a fake fiance type situation. So I'm excited to see what Bo's story is, because I feel like he is sort of like a dark horse in terms of the brothers. He's probably seen some stuff, seeing as he's been in the military. So I'm really excited to delve deeper into his character, because in all the other books he's actually really sweet and really cute. So I'm excited to see how Elsie Silver shows us the other side of Bo, because as we all know, the Eatan brothers do it best. Do you know something that was really funny? The other day I was at Freddie's house and we were reading. I can't remember if he said it that time or another time, but he was like, "Oh, it sucks because I have to compete with all of your book men." In that instance, I was like, you get it. You get it. Obviously I said to him, no, you don't have to compete with fictional men, but he absolutely does. And I love the fact that he's self-aware about it too. Although so I'm currently reading one of the other books that I'm going to be talking about, and the main character in that apparently got 5 from the man she was seeing, like in a row. And I made Freddie read a little bit of it, and he was like, Jesus Christ, that's basically soft porn. I'm going to talk about the next 2 books in tandem because they're together in the series. So I got Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, which is the 1st book in the Rebel, what was it? Help me out here. Rebel Blue Branch, no, Rebel, help. This is the 1st book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and this is my current read. So this is what I'm currently reading. So if you've seen my Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, @fictionallykate, link down below, it's a fun time over there, you'll see that this is what I've been reading for like the past month. And it follows Emmy and Luke, who used to not like each other because Luke is Emmy's older brother's best friend. And then Emmy comes back to Meadowlark, which is the small town that she's from, after going off and becoming like this really amazing pro horse rider person. I'm like 70% of the way through, so I've only got this much to read. I'll be honest, I'm getting a little bit bored. I'm on page 246 and I am getting a little bit bored because nothing is happening. They're just having sex and flirting. What I'm going to talk about is Swift and Saddled. Now this is the 2nd book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, nailed at that time, and this is to do with Ada and Wes. And yeah, that's all I know about that, and I hope it doesn't try and carry a plot for about 300 pages of them just having sex and flirting, because although I am a romance girly, there needs to be a plot as well. There needs to be something else going on, otherwise I just get bored. That last clip probably cut off because my camera decided to stop recording. So the next book I got was Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This is a book I read in college when I was 17. I was going to read it for my English literature coursework because we had to do a comparison between a 21st century novel and a 20th century novel. And so for my 20th century novel, I was going to write about Fahrenheit 451 in comparison to The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which was going to be my 21st century novel. However, I couldn't really find many of the comparisons, so I ended up just using The Handmaid's Tale and drawing comparisons that way. But I have already read this, although I did have to read it sort of from an analytical point of view because that is the nature of a literature course. So I want to reread it from a enjoyment perspective because it was a really good story. I just feel like I didn't get much out of it the first time I read it. 1, because I was 17 and didn't really understand what was going on, and 2, because I was having to analyze it as I was reading it, and so I didn't really get much enjoyment from it that way. So I think taking a step back and detaching myself from an academic viewpoint will really help me enjoy it and get more of the story this time around. So I'm really excited to read that, and I can't wait. Then I got Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. This book has been all over TikTok. Like, you may as well slap me in the face with it. This, I think, is to do with a girl who breaks up with someone, and then she gets with someone else, and then she gets in an accident, has amnesia, and she falls back in love with her ex-boyfriend, and it's sort of how everyone deals with that turn of events. I assume it's going to be really enjoyable. But yeah, so I'm excited to get into that one. It is kind of, it's not as chunky, but it is a little bit thick. But yeah, I am excited to get into that, and I can't wait. Next is The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. This is a romance novel. I thought I would pick up, I think this is like her most popular romance book. So I thought I'd pick it up just to see what it was about and how her writing in romance differs from her writing in fantasy, and whether there's any massive differences. So yeah, I'm really excited to get stuck into that. Then I got The Ghost Variations by Damien Lanigan. This is, I think, I don't know what kind of genre this comes into. Is it like lit fic or whatever? I picked this up in Waterstones because I was looking for a more contemporary literature kind of book. This is about a man who loses his wife, and he was a successful pianist, but then as soon as his wife dies, he decides that he doesn't want to be a pianist anymore, and he kind of becomes a recluse. And then 5 years later, he decides that he wants to pick up his career again, and he wants to start playing the piano. But as he's sort of trying to kickstart his career again and come out of retirement, he's dealing with the loss of his wife still, as well as his part to play in his wife's death. And so there's a little bit of a mystery in there, but it's also got some light-hearted and comedic bits in it. And so I thought this was a really nice starting point to get into contemporary fiction, and just a genre that isn't romance or fantasy. So yeah, I'm excited to read that. Then I got The Kingdoms of Savannah by George Dawes Green. This book is a, I want to say sort of like crime novel, like a gothic crime novel, gothic-esque if you will. Another great stepping stone into crime, especially gothic crime, because I love gothic literature. It was one of my favourite modules to do at university, and it's one of my favourite things to teach when I teach it to the kids now. So yeah, something like a modern gothic tale was really up my alley, so I'm excited about that. Then we have 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I have no idea what this book is about, but I've seen everyone talk about it on Instagram and TikTok, so I thought I'd pick it up and give it a go. Apparently, maybe think it might be quite sad. Discover the story that will break your heart and make you believe true love really does last for eternity. Oh no, it's gonna make me cry, isn't it? Oh, I don't like the font though. Look at that font. That's a weird font. I don't know if it's picking it up on camera, but it looks a little bit faded. It's just a bit, okay. But anyway, excited to get to that one so I can see what the hype is about. Then I got I'll Always Be With You by Monica Murphy. This is one of the books in the Lancaster Prep series. I don't know what order the Lancaster Prep series is, nor do I know how many books there are. All I know is that whenever I walk into Asda or Waterstones, there is always one new book that I haven't seen before, and I decide to pick it up because I am determined to get all of the books in this series. I've only read A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, which focuses on Crew and Ren. I kind of enjoyed it. I didn't have any major distaste towards it. I would say, however, that A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime for me felt a bit lackluster in terms of plot. It wasn't really anything driving it, rather like there was no plot that was driving the book forward. It just sort of felt a bit stagnant, and the only thing that was driving the plot was the fact that they both had their own things, like difficulties that they had to deal with, and then they came together. That's what I remember from it anyway. And the fact that there was a fat virgin trope in it. Not to say that there was like a fat virgin. I'm saying like there was like a big virgin trope in it, because in the book Ren is a virgin. I can't remember if it starts off as like a bet that Crew has with his friends, because she's seen as like untouchable, and so he's like, I can be the one, you know, to get through to her and make her lose her virginity or whatever. I don't know if that's how it started, but I do know that there was like a massive thing about her virginity throughout the whole book. I hate the virgin trope anyway. I think it sucks. It's alluded to that someone's driving factor to be with someone is because they're a virgin. That doesn't sit right with me. I find it strange. So that aspect of the book I found quite strange and kind of hard to read at points, because it was just shoved down your throat so much that she was like innocent and pure and all of this, that it kind of felt a bit weird. Yeah, I don't know who it follows. I think it's like one of the girl Lancasters this time. So yeah, excited to see what it is. And I'm guessing she's a ballerina because there's ballet shoes on the front cover. I don't know if you can see that, but there's ballet shoes on the cover of it. So, or point shoes, should I say. Sorry, dance community. There's point shoes, okay? Consider Me by Becca Mack. Now, this is a glorious turn of events. I think it may be the last video on this channel before this one where I read Consider Me on my Kindle. And if you've seen that video, you'll know it was a very tough experience for me, because I enjoyed some parts of it but hated it for the most of it. And Carter Beckett,
I'm Carter Beckett.
I don't like him. I don't like him, even to this day.
Can I just say I hate Carter Beckett with a passion. I hate him. Hate him.
I wanted to get it in paperback because I bought the second book in the series. I think it's the second one, but I thought if I'm gonna buy a book in a series, I'm gonna have to get all of them. So here we go. Next, I got Night Shift by Annie Crown. This book is a romance book, of course, and it follows a girl who is really into reading and writing. She writes a lot of her own poetry, and a basketball player who basically just likes to slam balls into nets. And yeah, I thought it was really cute because it's always nice to read about a girl who's a reader falling in love with someone the way that she's always read about in books. I think that's such a sweet thing. Because I think as readers, that's, especially romance readers, that's kind of all we want. We want someone to love us like the fictional men do in the books that we read. And yeah, so whenever I'm reading things like this, it's always very wholesome and very cute. So I'm excited to get into that. And the flop scale, I'd give it maybe like a 6 out of 10. Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. This is the third book, I think, in the Love Like Farm series. I have Love Like Farms. I don't have Into the Weeds. Again, look, now I said this in my TikTok that this one you can blame on Freddie, not on me. But he said that, because I was like, I don't want to get Mixed Signals because I don't have Into the Weeds yet. And I like to buy book series in order if I'm not buying them in bulk. But Freddie was like, well, why don't you just get Mixed Signals, so then when you go book shopping again and you see Into the Weeds, you can get Into the Weeds then and then complete the series that way. Because what happens if you leave here without buying Mixed Signals, go get Into the Weeds, and then you come back trying to look for Mixed Signals and then you can't find it again. So you may as well just get the book when you see it and then fill in the gaps as and when you find the books. I can see his logic, I just don't like it. But anyway, I got Mixed Signals. As much as I didn't see his logic, I liked the fact that he was trying to justify me buying another book. So I got it, don't know what it's about, but I am excited to get started with the whole Love Like Farm series. So yeah, and it's such a lovely colour, like this peachy, orangey type colour. It's very nice, very classy. Then we got Mile High by Liz Tomford. This is a book about, I think it's another hockey romance, and she's his stewardess. I don't really know much about it. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I'm really excited to read it. Yeah, I think it's in a trilogy. I'm not too sure. Is it the Windy Heights? No idea. Can't tell ya. I think it's Windy Heights. Windies. Oh, there's a book playlist. Any that I know? Get You the Moon. Oh my god, that's a great song. Say You Love Me. Oh my god, another great song. Ah, Safety Net. Oh my god. Swim. Oh my god. Okay, so that, yeah, loving the playlist. I'm gonna have to make this on my Spotify so I can have it ready to go. And I got Play With Me by Becca Mack. This is another book in the Consider Me series. This is the book that I was talking about when I said that I had to get Consider Me because I bought this book. And I think it would look like they would look so pretty on my shelf. It's such a lovely cover. Don't know what it's about, but apparently Mac writes hot, steamy stories. So methinks it's another soft porn, do you know what I mean? There you go. There's not much to say on that one, to be honest. I don't know much, I don't. Then I got the Raw book by Sarah Adams. This is American football romance, I think. It's a sport romance anyway. And this is to do with, like, they used to date and now, but they broke up and now she's his assistant or something like that. And he like wants to get revenge on her, but then he falls back in love with her or something like that. She also wrote The Cheat Sheet and Practice Makes Perfect. Both books I want to read, both books I haven't read. So that's probably going to be next on my TBB list, which is, you know, to be bought, yeah. My TBB list, my to be bought list. It's a small town romance, what I think. Lovely. Oh yeah, that's nice. Love doesn't play by the rules. No, it doesn't, does it? You tell him. Then I got Until the Shadows Lengthen by Hannah Clayton. This is a thriller, I think, or a horror, I'm not too sure. But it is about a girl who is imprisoned, I think. I heard about this in the comment section of a TikTok about unreliable narrators and stories that kind of can hook you from the first page. And I've been wanting to read a book that has hooked me from the first page for a while because I haven't read one of those books in quite some time. So I thought I'd pick it up and give it a go. And I'm excited to get started onto this one. Well, there's nothing more to say, is there? So yeah, if you've read this, please let me know how you found it, if you've enjoyed it. Can you tell me a little bit more about what it's about? And yeah, so I'm excited to get through to that one. Then I got The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. This is a gothic novel. I read this for my gothic literature module during my English literature degree and really enjoyed it. It was difficult to read at first because I wasn't used to the syntax and the language that's used in gothic novels. If you don't know, this is about a man called Manfred who is like a duke or something, and his son Conrad gets killed on his wedding day by a weird force, like a massive helmet just comes down and squashes him. That's not a spoiler, it literally says it in like the first page. And so Manfred decides to go ahead with the wedding and decides that even though he is married himself, he will take on the role of marrying Isabella, who is the girl that Conrad was meant to marry before he got killed, because he wants to produce some more heirs, because now that Conrad's dead, Manfred needs heirs to keep his bloodline alive. But there is a prophecy that says that by the time something happens, the house and the titles of his family will go to the rightful owners. And so it's about Manfred trying to dodge this prophecy whilst also trying to figure out what the prophecy actually means. And you as the reader are going along with Manfred trying to find out what that prophecy means as well. At the same time, all of this weird spooky stuff is going on. So it's a really great novel and I cannot wait to delve back into it. But yeah, I got it because I wanted to reread it and I didn't have my copy from when I was at uni because I think I sold it. But yeah, so I'm excited to get stuck back into that. Then I've got Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I've already read this. I read it within like 3 days. An easy read, it's light, it's nothing too drastic in terms of world building or plot. A vampire has to get married to a werewolf in order to keep an alliance or to form an alliance. And yeah, they fall in love. That's about it, and it's by Ali Hazelwood, so you know that there's some steamy stuff in it. So yeah, I definitely recommend that if you want an easy, light read. So yeah, definitely go check this out. Next up, we have Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh and Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. As I said on my TikTok, these are fat books. I think both books are 800 pages. I don't know what can happen in 800 pages. It's kind of scary, to be honest, but the more I've seen people talk about it, the more, like on social media, the more I really want to get stuck into these books. So yeah, definitely I'm excited to read these books. They're books 1 and 2 in the Boys of Tommen series. So yeah, I'm excited to get stuck into those. So the next book I got is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Rose Hill series, which is a new cowboy romance, I think. And everyone has been raving about this book. And I think this is the book about single dads. I think this focuses on Willa's dad. I'm really excited to get stuck into that because it sounds like a great book and right up my street. So yeah. Then I got The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. This comes post Off-Campus series and The Legacy. This book focuses on Gigi. She is a hockey player and obviously Hannah and Garrett's daughter. Yeah, I think it's the reason I got this is because I loved the Off-Campus series so much that having an excuse to just dive back in is honestly, like, I can't pass that opportunity up. And I know loads of people have read this before and have said amazing things about it because you get to see the original characters come back just a little bit older, and I think that's a really sweet concept. So yeah, I'm excited to get started into that. I'm excited to get into that. Right, the next are 4 books that are sealed because they all came together, and it is the Briar U series. Now, as much as I raved about the Off-Campus series, I never actually got round to reading the Briar U series. So I am so excited to get stuck into this. I think I'm going to start reading them next after I finish Done and Dusted, because I've left these for so long and I only just got them a few weeks ago. Yeah, all hockey romances, cannot wait to get stuck into them, and yeah. Well, that's it. So those are all of the new books I've got since Christmas. If you have read any of these books, please feel free to let me know down in the comments what you thought about, I can't speak. Please feel free to let me know in the comments what you thought about those books. Did you like them? Did you hate them? But yeah, it also means that I've got a lot of reviews lined up for you. So you're welcome. Don't say I'm lacking content ideas. That's it from me today. Make sure that you go follow me on TikTok and Instagram. They are the two places, the only places that I'm pretty active on. Both of those will be linked down below, so feel free to go check out those accounts. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, obviously. Comment about the books that we have spoken about in today's video, or just any books that you think I might like. I'm always down for new recommendations to add to my TBR list. And also feel free to subscribe, because subscribing means more friends that I can talk about books with. So please subscribe, because it would mean the world to me. But other than that, that's it from me. So yeah, thanks for joining me today, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Love you. Bye.